Welcome back, friendly ghosts. We are 26 days from December the 2nd, also known as the 20th anniversary from Legend of Dragoon. I figured I'd do something to celebrate. Regardless of what happens, 20 years is a huge milestone worth celebrating. Now maybe you'll agree with this theory, or maybe you'll think, nah brother, you is tripping. I'ma start with if you still believe the main theme of the game. My favorite character is Rose. Of all time, my favorite character in any media is Rose. I didn't know why at first, but I felt more connected to the character than the main character that the game presents. And it's easy to see why. She has the most character depth in the game. Beyond that, I don't think many would disagree when I say that there would be no Legend of Dragoon without Rose. From the coolest features to the story to the leading and teaching roles, they're all byproducts of Rose's character. Even though she technically doesn't lead as the main character and often chooses to chill in the back and let others grow. However, her influence doesn't stop there. The main theme is heavily related to the character of Rose's life. So much so that I've grown to believe that it's more than a relation. Let me know if this thought ever occurred to you. But wouldn't it be something if the song itself is actually sung by Rose? Not literally, but like an internal monologue, a story that plays over the course of her life from past to present. If you made it this far, I'm gonna start giving out spoilers, so you might want to head out, watch at your own discretion. I'll be making some comparisons of Rose's life in correlation to the song. Now, very, very late in the game, you are still learning about dragoons. Where did they come from? Who was the first? Where did they go? You will learn all of these events through Rose's side quest. Although left open-ended at times, one such is a flashback statement that Rose will be the spearhead of the war against Winglies, aka the angels who felt superior and enslaved humans in all forms of life because they couldn't fly and weren't as intelligent or couldn't use magic. This being the only statement of its kind along with the context of the scene led many to believe that Rose was the first dragoon to ever exist. Though she was the spearhead of the war, she was not battle-tested. In her flashbacks, she's always shown to be more fragile and innocent, similar to Shanna, a statement that she herself makes on the Queen Fury. Rose had a fiancé who also became a dragoon sometime before the final stand with the Winglies. Rose and her fiancé were going to get married after the war. However, he and the Wingly leader killed each other, while she was shown frantically being thrown about and saved by all of her peers throughout the entire fight. And when the dust settled, she was the only survivor. There are some periods in this time that aren't filled, though the gist of it is that a great mistake was made in mankind's realization of freedom, a mistake of which freed the soul of a death god that was originally seated in a fruit and taken and used for power by the Wingly leader in the form of a trident sphere, whatever. Perhaps in declaration of victory, one of the enslaved lifeforms broke the trident. The result was a countdown to everyone's demise. For one reason or another, Rose offered herself to make up for this mistake, and the Winglies offered her an eternal life to forever chase down the soul of this god. The reason why is never outright stated, considering there were countless Winglies similar in power if not greater for the job. From what we know, Rose felt guilty for not contributing enough to save her fiancé or her friends. Ultimately, this path of redemption that she chose slowly became the death of the kinder Rose that we saw in those flashbacks, and the starting point for the cold-hearted Rose. She's never shown questioning the unfairness of life or why God created a death god to destroy them. She's only shown to be already having found her internal answers and solutions to them. Sees facts only while seeing others as ignorant for believing and having hopes in what she already knows the crueler truths to. The world is kill or be killed. Throughout the game, she's indirectly called heartless and other damning names similar to what the Winglies once were to her. And it isn't until she realizes that she's still grieving for her fiancé through avoidance that she sees her own reflection and acknowledges her bitterness. Up to this point, she's seen glimpses of her fiancé in Dart. Perhaps she's been waiting for her fiancé to be reincarnated, a bit of hope she believed in that she'd never admit up till now. Later in the game, Rose mentions the possibility of rebirth to a dying soul to help them pass on. When they ask if this is true, Rose hesitates to answer before ending a walk-around spew of words that can only be summed up as, "I hope so." She's no longer fighting for freedom, She doesn't even know why she's fighting anymore. She's only even with the party because they remind her of her past loved ones. She's on a new journey, watching a picture of how her life should have played out. Her pessimistic views of her old beliefs are being shown to be truths through the main character and his loved ones. Through the journey, she finds herself revisiting her past at an alarming rate. Up till about 70% through the game, her past is suddenly face to face with her again. Her fiancé is still alive, though he no longer sees her as his loved one. Till the end of the game, Rose maintains her poker face, only dropping it when trying to confront her fiancé and understand why he doesn't see her for what she was to him anymore. Finally, at the end, Rose drops from the sky to stand where her fiancé can no longer stand, to confront him one last time and see if he recognizes her. She says, and I quote, "I have been waiting for this moment." And his response is, "I've kept you waiting so long, I'm sorry." His response to her is the first time and the only time you ever see Rose smile. It's worth noting at this point her fiancé is practically paralyzed, but still has control of his limbs. Rose carries him and flies toward the final boss. She gives him her sword, a sword meant to kill dragoons, and if you slow down the cutscene, you can see the sword eating him alive. Rose flies herself and her fiancé into the boss, killing them both. But before the scene fades off, you see the two of them holding hands into the explosion. Now, I didn't mean for this to be a character profile. Freaking A. I'm gonna leave you with the main song of the game and see if you can come to the same conclusion as I. If I were to go verse by verse, here's how I think If You Still Believe would play out. Verse 1. Verse 1 is Rose dreaming while humanity is slaved, dreaming that she can fly and becoming the first dragoon, a chance for freedom from the winglies. She can feel each moment as time goes by. She and Zieg would never be too far away. He used to say he'd always be with her. Maybe that's their vows or proposal. Maybe that's how he proposed to her. She never thought that their proposal would be their last time that they see each other. She still dreams that one day love will fall down from the sky, or that he will be reincarnated, or that his spirit would find hers. The first hook of Do You Remember is a monologue consciously or subconsciously to herself and Zieg's spirit. The second verse, I think, is a journey with Dart's crew, and her reconciling. Her happier side is starting to return, find a way to love what she has. Hope she doesn't lose her new friends when their journey ends. She believes love will find a way. The last verse is meeting Zieg again, praying in the climax. She'll be waiting for Zieg to return to his normal self. In her heart, he is the one. If she can't reach him, she will look up to the sun. If from where you are standing, you can see the sky above, I'll be waiting for you if you still believe in love. I believe that last part is the final scene where they finally recognize each other. And the final hook would be them being together again, which makes me think that the hook or chorus of this entire song is or would be their wedding vows. So that about wraps it up. And what do you think? I'll play the song out just because it needs to be played in this situation. As of November 6th, we are 26 days from the 20th anniversary of Legend of Dragoon. Once again, 20 years. It's been a long ride, with the majority of it being no reason to believe in the game being supported whatsoever. It's amazing that there are still this many fans as there are under these poor circumstances, and I have faith. The more hope there becomes, the more of a possibility it becomes, the more people will have a reason to believe in it again, and before long, I believe that there will be a renaissance for Legend of Dragoon. Excuse me, let me say the name right properly, for the first time. The Legend of Dragoon. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the love, and keep your head up, stay strong. I'm gonna wrap it up right here. May peace be with. Always keep your head up. Deuces, dos, bos, adios. Stay cool. And if you like my content, be sure to show some love. But always be sure to show some love to the people that matter to you. And be cool. Peace.
see the sky above.